Hello, everybody. It's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success Seminars, where we offer knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life and ageless, anti-aging for your brain, your body, and your future. And today, 2 days after Independence Day here in the US, where we celebrate our adoption of the Declaration of Independence, announcing our formal separations from Great Britain and rule by their king to becoming our own sovereign nation. I love to say that. I don't know about you, but I get chills just hearing that sentence. And for those that think I'm now going to get political and talk about leaders who have visions of being kings, I'm not. What I'm going to talk about today is gratitude because I saw a lot of worry and sadness and feelings of helplessness over the 4th of July and not a lot of gratitude this year. And although I can see why there might be fear amidst all the uncertainty in our country and the world, I still believe that there is a lot to celebrate. And I still believe in the awesome power of gratitude. In fact, one of my favorite researchers on gratitude is Dr. Robert Emmons. He's a professor of psychology at the University of California in Davis and author of numerous books, including Gratitude Works. That's the one I've read. I think there's one called The Psychology of Gratitude and The Little Book of Gratitude. I first heard about him when my nephew was at UC Davis, and I was fortunate enough to sit in on one of his lectures. And he's absolutely brilliant. And he's gathered an overwhelming body of research that indicates that you're going to experience more joy, more inner peace, more vitality when you consciously make the effort to notice the good in your life and give thanks when you notice it. He found in his research that people who expressed gratitude had better sleep, fewer headaches, less gastrointestinal difficulties, fewer respiratory infections, and not surprisingly, improved mental health and happiness. Even people with chronic diseases like heart diseases and cancers had better outcomes when they were grateful. And one study that Dr. Emmons and his colleague, Mike McCullough of the University of Miami did was, well, it was one of my favorites. They randomly assigned participants to three groups, and the participants kept journals. But one group was told to record each day 5 things they were grateful for that had occurred. Another group was told to record daily hassles and things that upset them during the day. And the neutral group was assigned to or asked to just list 5 events or just circumstances that affected them, but they weren't told whether to focus on positive or the negative events. So the types of things people listed in the grateful group were things like I had a beautiful exchange with my sister. I swam with the dolphins. I don't know, a friend invited me to a book group. And in the hassles group, people listed things like, a doctor made me wait 30 minutes for my appointment. I was in a hurry, and when my lunch arrived at the restaurant, it was cold, and I didn't have time to send it back. I overslept, and I missed the beginning of an important class. My dad acted like a jerk when I asked him if I could borrow $50. And after 10 weeks, participants in the gratitude group not only reported feeling better about their lives as a whole, but they were statistically 25% happier than the hassled group on an objective questionnaire. They also, no surprise, reported fewer health complaints. So I love that study. But what about when stuff happens and life really is unkind? The question is, can you still be happy? Well, the answer, according to Robert Emmons, is yes, you can, in fact. And findings show that adversity can actually boost gratitude. In fact, in a survey of more than 3,000 Americans, researchers found that people had an increase in feeling of gratitude after 9/11. The conclusion of the survey was that hard times can actually deepen gratefulness because they show us not to take things that we have for granted. So Dr. Emmons said that that's because tough times deepen our gratitude for the things that we usually take for granted, like freedom, for example. I mean, think about it. When times are good, we do take things for granted, our family, our friends, a roof over our head, and our lives in a free country. And in times of uncertainty, we often realize that these things are actually incredibly valuable. I mean, we are really, really lucky to be living in the country that we're living in. In November of 2020, Emmons, he actually tweeted, I didn't memorize this tweet, but I yeah, have it over here. He said, in the face of demoralization, gratitude has the power to energize. In the face of brokenness, gratitude has the power to heal. In the face of despair, gratitude has the power to bring hope. In other words, gratitude is something that can really help us cope with hard and uncertain times. So, what are some ways we can express gratitude? Well, I came up with a few, and actually, he has a few that he shares. But I say, first of all, notice the glory and the bounty around you. Give thanks for our grocery stores overflowing with groceries. Give thanks for our schools that our education, up until higher education, that is free and where boys and girls get equal opportunity for education. And also thanks for our dedicated teachers. Give thanks for our police officers and our firefighters and our military keeping us safe. Give thanks for the bounty of nature. The rain here in the Midwest. I love when I'm actually in Fairfield, Iowa, and I just love it's so fresh when it rains, and the thunder and lightning is just exciting here. And then, since there's been a considerable amount of rain, the corn is so high already, even in June, and the soybeans and the forests are just lush and green, and they're just a joy to behold. When I walk through the forest, I say, "Thank you, God." I mean, I say thank you, God, for everything. I say thank you, God, for my friends, for my children, for my precious godchildren. I give thanks for the people around me, the mailman, the checkout person at the grocery store, your neighbors. And by the way, I would recommend not only to give thanks for all of these people, but share with them how you feel about them. Give them compliments. Tell them how much you appreciate them. I mean, why would you possibly keep that to yourself when you notice something wonderful in another? Another thing you could do, say grace before your meals. And not only puts the energy of love into your food, when you do it in a group, it forms a circle of love. As a matter of fact, I'm reading this great book, The Field of Glow by William Schultz. And in the book, he talks about because he sees angels and light beings, and he has since he was a baby in his crib. But now he's a grown adult, obviously. I think he's like in his 50s or 60s. And he says that when you bless your food, that actually a shaft of light comes down from the heavens and puts that energy into your food. Wow. Anyway, back to the subject. Keep a daily gratitude journal. You saw what happened when Dr. Emmons had people write down what they were grateful for. I have a few more things, but I want to, before I share those with you, I want to read you something that I read by a wonderful angel communicator whose name is Ann Albers, and yet another angel communicators. And this is what she says about having gratitude. She says, when you're stuck in traffic, appreciate your car, the songs on the radio, the person you love the most, the sky overhead. If you're ill, you can appreciate the warmth of a cozy blanket and a cup of tea. If you're feeling scared, you can appreciate a moment of laughter with a friend or perhaps a song that gives you a few moments of peace. While the world rants about its problems, you can see its miracles. While those around you might try to convince you of all that is wrong with life, you can seek out and appreciate what's right. While the doomsdayers tell you the economy is failing, the world is coming to an end, and that your climate is going to hell in a handbasket, you can smile and choose to live in God's economy. You can appreciate the moment in front of you, right here, right now. You can take a moment and marvel at nature's miraculous ability to regenerate, sometimes without the slightest bit of help. Dear ones, make every day a day of thanksgiving. Make every day a day of seeking out things and people to appreciate. In the meanest of individuals, if you were to look hard enough, you could find something to appreciate. Perhaps they have a passion that comes out in unpleasant ways, but it's nonetheless still a passion. Maybe they're angry because they feel helpless, because in their depth, they care strongly about an ideal. Perhaps the person who just cut you off in traffic is afraid of being late, but at least they care about meeting their commitment. We are not saying you should stick around for bad behavior if you can avoid it. We're not saying you should pretend it doesn't exist or give it another second of your focus. However, when bad behavior is unavoidably in front of you, you can still look around for something to appreciate. When you don't like something on the news, you can appreciate your remote control and switch the station. When the relative you try to avoid starts lecturing you, you can point on something about them that you can appreciate and then change the topic. For example, you can say, I love that you care so much about me. I love that you want the best for me. Thank you. And then change the subject or walk away. Or maybe you're around someone going on and on about their beliefs and trying to impose those beliefs on you. You can easily say, it's so wonderful to be alive and to care so much about something so passionately. It's better than being apathetic. Then switch the topic or walk away. You have the power to find something to appreciate in any given situation. And while some are certainly harder than others, you have the choice to align with the love that you are and feel good or not. Your choice to focus on appreciation is for you first. Spending your life seeking out things to appreciate enables you to open the windows of your perception to all that is good, loving, and beautiful. In so doing, you will see the light amidst the darkness, harmony despite the chaos, beauty, love, and grace, even in a world that is certainly stirred up at the moment. Even the angels say that. You are the light. You are the light workers, the light focusers, the appreciators, and the ones attuning your world into a higher, happier, more beautiful space. One moment, one soul at a time. Don't you love that? I mean, it's kind of amazing that the angels acknowledge that the world is a little bit stirred up right now, but then the angels give you what you can do to get it unstirred, or at least your life to be unstirred. It actually reminded me of the Charles Dickens quote where he said, reflect upon your present blessings, of which every man has many, not on your past misfortunes, of which all men have some. And finally, the truth is that we are so lucky. If you're watching this on a computer or a smartphone, you are wealthier than way more than half the people on this planet. If you ate today, you can give thanks when between 10 and 15% of the people on our planet have nothing to eat today. And thousands die of starvation every day. And if something so called bad happens, it's never bad. It's either obviously something is either obviously good or it's clearing the way for something better to come in. And the sooner you say, thank you, God, the sooner that something better will reveal itself and in greater abundance. And finally, let's give thanks for our freedom because as we know, what we appreciate appreciates. So instead of spending time talking about how we fear the loss of our freedom or freedoms, let's give thanks for the freedoms we have. And there are many. And then by focusing on them, they will grow in our lives. When they grow in our individual lives, they will grow on the planet. So why not count them as you go to bed each night instead of counting sheep? I think you'll probably fall asleep and sleep faster and sleep much deeper. So that's it for today. Besides that, I am so grateful for all of you and for the freedom to be able to express my thoughts to you each week without any censorship. And I'm so grateful that you listen to my vlogs because I love to share my thoughts and make my little contribution to uplifting the world and hopefully uplifting you. It makes my heart happy to have you as my friend. So thank you. Really, thank you. Sending you tons of love today and every day. I am so grateful for you.